Hello, hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Zach. How's it going?
Good.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today for the Excel imports. Hopefully, you guys are excited because this has actually been a major update for our product. So we're excited here to actually showcase it with today to you guys along with Zach. So Zach here is the CEO and founder of Layer. And myself, I'm Georgios. I'm the director of customer experience here at Layer. So uh, basically, I'm responsible for helping everyone setting things up in Layer, along with the customer success team. So excited to have everyone here. Uh, Zach, why don't we start with kind of like a little bit of a brief intro?
Cool. Yeah. Before we jump into that, do you want to talk about the product updates and where people can find those?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, thanks for that. So basically, we have created a layer project that helps you track the product updates as they come, and the ones that are also in beta. So the one you can access them from within the app, just by clicking on that on the bottom left, that question mark, and then navigate to the product updates. And basically, this is a kind of like a project that includes all of the updates in a gallery view for those that are familiar with the layer terms. And it includes all the updates as a view. It includes the new features and the product updates. We kind of like discriminate those in different categories uh, of updates. So feel free to poke in there and see what's going on with Layer and what are the things that are in beta. This is kind of like up to date, and along with the full release notes with other small updates that we do across the platform. Right, I'm going to hand it to you, Zach. Drive us a little bit through what Layer is for the folks that are new to this webinar.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks everybody again for joining us today. We're really excited about this. To start, first, I'm just going to run through a couple slides just describing what Layer is and spend about 30 seconds on that. And then talk about the new features that we have coming out today. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Layer, Layer is really a response to this problem that we identified. Building professionals waste about 6 hours a week looking for building data. And we think a major culprit in that is that work is managed in disconnected tools that don't talk to each other. So Layer was really built to be the connected work management platform for buildings. It allows you to connect all of your sources of project data to our platform and makes all of that information accessible on any device. So you can we have apps for iOS and Android, desktop and web, and all of your project information is available on any of those devices. Layer then allows you to build custom tools for your team using our flexible, collaborative, no-code toolkit. So basically, we give you a toolkit where you can create your own workflows and deploy them across your team and across your projects. One of the major sticking points, though, for us, at least early on, was customers seeing the potential of what Layer could do, but then asking, okay, how do I get started? Do I have to build all this from scratch? And so for us, we launched templates last year in January, and that made it super easy for teams to get started with kind of pre-built best practice templates in Layer. And so it took away a hurdle for users new users coming onto the platform, because then you could use some of our best practice templates as well as create your own and share them across your team and across your projects. But one of the most common problems that we have with new users is people asking, okay, what do I do with the data that I already have? And before today, the answer was, well, we can help you import it on our end. And we could create some custom importing routines and get your information into Layer. Or you could enter all of that data manually. So because of this, again, this was another major hurdle to getting users started on the platform. This was our most commonly requested feature, was being able to import data within our application into your projects. And so today we're really excited to announce that we now are launching the ability to import Excel files into Layer, both into new and existing categories. And so we're going to walk through a little bit of that today and show you the details of how we go about doing that. So I'm going to flip over to my Layer environment here. Let me just make sure it's showing up on the screen. Yep. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger for everybody. And we're going to start by showing how we can create a new project and basically bring a spreadsheet into a new project to kind of establish a base for my data in a project. So I'm going to create a new project by clicking this button here. And we're just going to create one from scratch instead of using a template. And so once I create that project, it's going to show me kind of my blank slate of a project. And you'll notice that I have a few options here for how to get started. One of them is importing from a spreadsheet. And so I'm going to click right here. And you can see this launches our new import interface. So as was made clear in the slides, we allow you to import Excel files, but we also allow you to import other formats as well, like CSV, TSV, and others. So I'm gonna grab an Excel file here, and what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna bring in a Excel file that has a list of product specs in them, as well as like companies. So all I have to do is drop it here. It'll upload the file, and I'll click next. So you can see what it does is it looks at the sheets in the spreadsheet and allows me to map how I want those to show up in this project. So in this case, if I click on this drop down, since it's a blank project, I either can create a new category or I can choose to not import that sheet. What you'll notice though is that this does allow for you to import data from multiple sheets in an Excel file. So this makes it easy. If you have all your information in one Excel file, you can just upload it to Layer and then decide what to do with each one of these sheets from here. So in this case, we're just going to create 2 new categories, and I'll hit continue. And you'll see what it does is it's now going to take me through each of those sheets and allow me to determine how I want to import this information. So in this case, you can see here on the left-hand side, these are the columns coming from my spreadsheet. And on the right-hand side, these are my fields that I'm going to create in Layer. And essentially what we're doing is we're deciding how to map these spreadsheet columns to fields in Layer. So you'll see too that we make some assumptions about your field types here. Name is already mapping to the name field within the category, but then all the rest of these will be creating new fields for me. And so you can see here as I go down this list, I can quickly choose here to create a new field, and I can choose the field type here. So I'm going to set this to a select input, and you can see that my preview off to the right-hand side is changing as I'm modifying these types. So I'll make those some drop downs. We will change our desired quantity to a number field and my unit costs as well. And we'll make the notes a little bit larger text area field. There we go. And so now you can see a preview of how this information is going to be brought in. I'm going to click continue, and now we're on to the next sheet. So that was in my spreadsheet. So now we're looking at the company sheet, and here are the column names, and these are the Layer fields that it's going to create. So most of these look pretty good for the most part, but I'm going to modify a few of these, like this email field. We're going to change to an email field in Layer, and my phone number field, I'm going to change to a phone number field. And we'll add notes as a text area field. Okay, one other thing I want to show you though here is when you're creating new fields, I can select the field type, but you'll notice off to the left-hand side, I have this text input that I can actually modify these names. So you can see that I have this column here named name_1, and I want to modify that to just call that my contact name. I can just edit the field name right here. And let's do the same for these other contact properties as well. Now that I have those defined, I can hit continue. And Layer will check with you to make sure that everything, or summarize basically what it's going to do.
And one thing, Zach, so for the folks that cannot see, Zach is clicking continue, but our kind of like our images are on top of that button.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Overlapping there, but
we'll change the layout there. There we go. Cool. All right. So I'll click import elements. And it'll think for a minute while it's creating the categories and all of the fields associated with those categories. And once it's complete, we'll be able to see basically our project with all of those items imported into our categories. There we go. And you can see that now I have all of my products and their data and all of my companies imported in. All right, so that's kind of a quick view of how we can import data from scratch. I want to cover quickly how we can import data into existing projects or existing categories. So I'm going to switch over to another project I have ready to go here. And this is for this ABC project. And I already have a Revit model connected to this project. And I have this empty category here called room surveys. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to import basically room surveys that I have in a spreadsheet into this category. And I already have some existing fields listed here in this category. So I'm going to click to import. And we'll drag our spreadsheet onto the canvas, and I'll hit next. And so in this case, instead of creating a new category, I'm going to import into an existing category. And so once this is done processing, we'll specify where it needs to go. There we go. So you can see that the sheet name is survey. It wants to create a new layer category, but in this case, I'm going to choose an existing one. So I'm going to choose this room survey category. And you can see that the little icon changes to indicate that it's actually pushing to an existing category instead of creating a new one. So I'll hit continue. And now I have all of these fields that I need to map to my layer fields, all these columns that I need to map to layer fields. So I'm going to start by attributing this to the element name. You can see that it found some existing fields for room number and room level. So it's assuming that I want to map directly to those, which I do. And then we have a bunch of fields down here that are just new fields. So in this case, this plan reference is one I do not want to import it. So I'm going to choose to not import it like that. And the rest of these look pretty good. I'm going to change the notes to some area fields instead. And we'll call that good. So this is our preview of what it's going to look like when we bring it in. All right, so I'll hit continue. And again, it will confirm that everything looks good here. And now I'll import those elements. So one thing that I'm going to demonstrate here with this is that you can use spreadsheets and specific keys or tags in your spreadsheet data to automatically tie these items back to items in your Revit model, for example. So if we look at this category, my room surveys here, you'll see that here's all the room surveys that have come in from my spreadsheet. And if I click on one of them, like this Lounge 212, you can see that I can see all the data that we've imported for this particular item. But you'll notice that I have this field. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I missed it here. I have this field called Revit Room that is basically, it's based on the room number. It's automatically finding what room in my model this room is connected to, and it's linking it here for me. So I just imported all this data, and it already knows that it's connected to this room. And if I click on this room, it's going to take me to that particular room in my model, and it's going to show me where this room is located and all the data related to it. So here's the snapshot from my model of that particular room, and here's all the data related to it, including the phase it's created in, the level it's on, etc. So overall, this has a ton of flexibility in how you can get data into Layer, and we're excited to see the other use cases that you come up with as you play with it. So with that, Georgios, I don't know if you've been monitoring for any questions at all, but have any questions come in?
No questions so far. I was looking for the clapping emoji because I really like that workflow that you just did with linking of the Revit Room.
Yes, yeah, no, I know that's it. It unlocks a lot of potential for how we can connect existing data to our Layer project. So definitely, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I know that a lot of our clients are actually asking already for, a lot of people have already their data gathered in spreadsheets and a Revit model. So how do you bring those two together, right? I think that's actually a pretty cool workflow.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Awesome.
Sweet. Let's see.
Great.
I think we're gonna let a little bit of couple of minutes here for any questions that may come in. How does that sound, Zach?
Awesome. That works good. So we thank you for taking the time to join us today. If you're new to Layer or haven't experienced Layer before, feel free to reach out and schedule a demo where we'd be happy to show you the ropes and show you how Layer can help you deliver better projects. So on the screen here, there's a link to a demo, the demo form. If you're an existing user and you just have questions, feel free to reach out at any point. You can click here in the app to message us. Oops, sorry, wrong one. There we go. Click here in the app to message us, and we're always there to answer any questions you might have. So
we're getting a question from Sean. So Sean says, are there any limitations to the number of items you can import, or maybe limitation to the number of columns?
Good question. So currently there are no limits to the number of items you can import or the number of columns. So there's no limit.
Okay, cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing someone pushing.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone that has too many data.
Yes, exactly.
There's not enough data.
Yep. Exactly right.
Sweet.
Awesome. Okay. Well, like Giorgio said, we'll stick around here for a few minutes, see if there's any other questions that come in. If not, again, if you're new, feel free to reach out and schedule a demo. We'd be happy to talk to you further. And again, we're excited to see what you do with this feature.
All right, I don't see anything else coming in. Oh, we had one question from Aram. Hey, Aram. Is it possible to map columns to fields under different categories? and the same column to two different fields? That's a pretty cool question.
Okay, so let's see. Is it possible to map columns to fields under different categories and the same column to two different fields? So that's a great question. So I'll answer the second part of that first.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming here, I'm gonna jump into a project and go through this import quick. Oops. All right, so if I there we go. I'm going to pull up this FF&E. We'll create new. There we go. So if I have a column here and I want to map two different fields to that column, that is not possible. So in this case, if I wanted to take my status and basically map it to two separate layer fields, we're not able to do that currently. So you would have to duplicate that field in Excel before you imported it here. The second part of that question is it possible to map columns to fields under different categories? So in this case, every sheet and the columns that you're using are mapped to that specific layer category. Now, the caveat to that is, and I demonstrated this in this ABC project here, is we can use lookup fields to automatically pull information from one category into another category. So in this case, based on my imported data, it created a relationship between this room survey and this Revit room. And then I can automatically pull data from my room survey into this specific Revit room. So I think that's what you currently you can only import into one specific category per sheet, but there is a way, like I demonstrated here with the Revit category, to link data from one category into another automatically without having to go through and manually assign those.
Yeah, that's actually a good answer, Zach. Yeah. We have another question from Lillian, and I think Lillian is asking how to edit the sheet layout.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you import a file into Layer, it comes in the order of the columns. So you can see here that the columns are ordered by the way that they appeared in the spreadsheet. We do have a improvement to this on our roadmap to be able to reorder these, but currently, basically, it comes in the order that's present in the spreadsheet. Now, if you want to reorder these fields after you go through the import, you can do that a few different ways. So I can click on an item, and I'm going to click Edit Fields. And this is basically my list of fields that then I can take and drag these up or down to reorder them however I'd like. So that's how they would be able to be reordered.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And just in general, for the folks that are still getting started with, I mean, it's not getting started with Excel and Layer, but we also have a spreadsheet template for you to organize your data before importing the data in Layer, and that's basically where that links that link takes you to.
Right there. Yep. And
it's pretty straightforward. It's basically a column name would be the field name, and then every row will be the element. Pretty straightforward.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool. Zach, there's no other questions at the moment, looks like.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's it. Then well, let's see. Hold on a second. I'm going to check this list quick.
Yep.
Nope. Okay, we answered all those. So
we did. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, if you do have any other additional questions for this, or you're watching this at a later time, a replay, you can always go into the help button in Layer and go to message us. And you can send us a quick message with your question here.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, looks like we have one more question.
Couple of questions.
Aram asked, also, when we import cells with formulas, I'm assuming it just copies the values of the cells, or will it include the formulas instead of cells? So it will include the value of that cell when you save it. It does not include the formula. So good question.
Good question, yeah. And a really quick one is, how do you add logos as well? And I would assume that that's more of like a document view question. Would you think, Zach?
I think so, because we don't have you can't import cells with images or anything else like that. So I'm assuming maybe that's a document view question.
Yeah, Lilian, reach out to us and we can definitely drive you through the document view, which is just again another view to experience your data, and that's your deliverable, and you can add your logos and customize how your data is delivered. Definitely. Awesome. Last one from Mark. When exporting the data sheet to PDF, can we change how it appears?
So that's probably, as it relates to document view, you can change how it appears. I'm
right.
Let's see here. I'm going to go back to an example project just to demonstrate this quick. So when you use a template in Layer, we typically give you some templates for your document views that make it easy to visualize your data in kind of this page layout. So in this case, I can click here to export a PDF or export the full PDF report. And it's going to look like the way it looks on the screen here. Now, if you wanted to customize this the way that this page looks, you can quickly edit that by clicking on this edit button right here. And basically, you can use these building blocks to create a dynamic document for this particular item. So, for example, I could drag on a column arrangement here. Oops, I'm going to bring this down here, and we could throw the files into that, and maybe this image as well. So you can kind of create a layout that makes sense, and then that layout is applied to every item in that category. From there, all you have to do is click publish, and then those changes are saved. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Yeah, I think both those last questions are document related questions, where is basically how you deliver your data that exists in Layer to your clients. And this is just kind of like a different, it's kind of like a different aspect of the platform. That this is a document view where, as Zach showed, that you can arrange your data the way you want it, change it how it looks, apply your logo, add footers and headers and page numbers and whatnot, and then basically deliver it as a complete package based on the data that you have collected for your project. So this was thanks, Zach, for actually taking the time and showing that. This was more of like a generic question for Layer, but for the rest of the people that have questions like that, feel free to schedule a demo, as you can see here on the banner, or for current users that have more extra questions about how to deliver content, feel free to use the messages pattern, which I'm sure you already have. Everyone has already done so far. So no really any explanation. Cool.
Awesome. Great.
Right on time.
Yep, right on time. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. It was great to talk to you all today. We look forward to see what you do with this feature.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Zach. Take care.